Welcome, Keto Rockstars, to Sunday. Well, wait, it's not Sunday, it's Thursday. What's going on here? To Thursday Night Live, and we have a special guest, Just Jason Keto. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jason. How are you
Well,
doing?
thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And hello to everyone out in the keto community. So good to see you all.
Yes, and let's say hi to a few people before we get started. Granny Boo is in the house. And then Sandy is watching Mitch at 7, and I think Mitch has a private community video going on. And I know Victor Southern Keto is live streaming right now, but this is when we could do it. So it's okay. Whoever's with us, we'll just be happy to be with you tonight. And Lynn, 22Q Cat, is here, and she says hi, Jason and all. Looking forward to it tonight. I hope we get some more joiners. Usually my house is pretty full, but people aren't used to seeing me go live at this time. So that's okay. We will just and it looks like my chat. Oh, here we go. We got low carb spin. Here comes some people. Karen at low carb spin is here. Welcome, Karen. Charlie, Darth Carnivore. And if you haven't, Charlie just started his YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to him, please go check out his channel. He put 2 videos up. Today was his first day for putting videos out. Holly Springer's in the house. April is here. She is like one of the first people I met on YouTube, and she's one of my moderators. She's on her main channel. We'll drop the link when she gets home. Thank you so much for joining us. We said hi to Lynn, and let's see who else is here. Okay, I think that's it. Now, if you would do me a favor, if you have a question, please type in QQQ in the question, because I have a filter over on my other screen, and we can address those first. Just because I found it's hard to keep up with these sometimes when we're doing interviews. So I would appreciate that. And it looks like Paul is here, Defense Wiz, and I'm interviewing him on Sunday. So please stop by on Sunday at 7 to see his interview. Okay, so we're going to get to it. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Okay, Jason, tell us about your keto journey, and when and how did it start? Just give us, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, it's sort of, I guess, started, probably the whole journey started, 40, 50 years ago, really, when I sort of was really active when I was younger and played a lot of sports. And but when I got into my teenage years, it kind of fell off, and I got more interested in having fun than, playing sports. And then through my 20s and 30s, the whole diet, I didn't really pay attention to things. And, just like a lot of us, I wound up by my 40s and almost into my 50s, I found myself, trying and failing to lose weight and get back into shape like many times. Only because I was going about it the wrong way. I was, eating low fat and the way they tell you to, and going to the gym and seeing results. But it's one of those things that was just really hard to continue doing to an extent that I saw any real results. So basically, and for my 20s, late 20s, all the way through my 30s and most of my 40s, I had a lot of digestive issues too, that I sort of pinned on a gluten intolerance eventually. So that's, into my 40s, I cut out gluten, and while it helped things, it also started packing weight on quicker, because I was eating a lot of, carbs like potatoes and rice and everything else to replace the pasta and the bread and everything else, and eating bread made out of rice that was just horrible. And so I guess fast forward to the end of 2018 or well into 2017, my first grandson was born. And once he started becoming mobile, like in 2018, and wanting to play and, just do what 1-year-old kids want to do and 2-year-old kids want to do, I was having a hard time sort of keeping up with what he wanted to do. So I basically figured I needed to do something. I didn't know what at the time, but ultimately I went to a family gathering on Boxing Day in 2018, and that's when I ran into a cousin of mine that I hadn't seen her for quite a while, but she'd lost quite a bit of weight. And I asked her, like, what did you wind up? How'd you do it? And she basically told me that she had been keto for the last year, kind of thing. And I'm like, well, like I'd heard about it. Sort of, you see things all over YouTube, even if you're not paying attention to them or specifically looking for things. But, you always hear about things like keto and carnivore and all that stuff on YouTube. So it wasn't foreign to me. I just hadn't really looked into what it was all about. But at that time I was like, well, I want to give something a try, because I couldn't go on sort of living the way I was. Now, I won't say, like, I will say, I guess, that I wasn't sick. I was just had a lot of pain. I wasn't having to take medications. I don't know that I was pre-diabetic or anything, but I was probably, 80 pounds overweight. And I just had a lot of like back pain and knee pain and all that stuff. So between Boxing Day and New Year's Day, so Boxing Day 2018 and New Year's Day 2019, that's all I did was watch YouTube videos about keto. So, the Thomas DeLauers of the world, and Dr. Barry wasn't necessarily mainstream on YouTube back then. But even Dr. Berg, all sorts of different creators, Goody Beats, all the, the big names back then. I basically watched all of their videos for a week straight. And then I started keto New Year's Day 2019. I basically, just went all in on it. And basically for the first year, and it was a, no cheats, no straying, just see what happens. And then, so I was able to lose that 80 extra pounds in the first year. And then it's been basically, I still don't cheat on my diet or on my lifestyle. I guess I should say it's not really a diet. It's just the way I live now. And I don't cheat because I don't have the ability to stay on the rails if I start veering off them. So I just decide not to. And so basically the last just over 6 years has been just trying to focus on, okay, well, I've got my weight under control. I feel a lot better. So let's work on some other things. So, over the years, I've been experimenting with different foods to help my gut issues and so on. And, here we are basically 6 years later and 4 years into doing YouTube. And I'm talking to you about my lifestyle on YouTube.
And I found a before picture of you. Would you feel comfortable if I shared that?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
It's out there. So
Let me, just so people, because I think it means more to people, like when they can see like how far that you've come. So let me see if I can just pull this up real quick. Window. Here it is right here.
Yeah. That was the day I started.
So that was Jason. Yep. So you can see you've come a long way. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. But I just wanted people to see, that it wasn't like you just lost 5 pounds. You lost, what, like, was it, how much total did you say you lost?
Well, I started at 278 in that picture, basically. And then the lowest I got
Right.
down to was about 198. That's the lowest I saw on the scale before I stopped using the scale, basically. Because at that point, I was like, okay, I know how to do this, and I'm not 198 anymore.
Right.
I usually sit more, 210, 212 kind of thing, because that's sort of where my body wants to be. Like I've always felt that it is, you know, we all have goals in mind, and we all want to, we all want to be trim and fit and all this. But I think at the end of the day, your body's going to tell you where it's healthiest, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I, I was like, oh, I look great at 198, but I didn't necessarily feel my best. So that's why I just, I stick to what I need to do, but I don't worry too much about my weight anymore. It just stays where it's supposed to.
And what does your food plan look like? Are you mostly meat heavy with a little veg? Are you more like ketovore side? Are you heavy keto? I know you do the chaffle recipe
Mm-hmm.
videos,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that's more for just to give people ideas on things they can do to stay on this lifestyle. But what is your typical like meal plan like?
Yeah, I do a lot of it. It would be considered like ketovore. Uh, I'm not carnivore. I've tried it. I did a couple of weeks of carnivore one time, and I was like, but this is cool and everything. And I could do it if I had to do it, but I don't have to do it because vegetables don't bother me. So, but it is ketovore, more or less, a meat heavy keto diet. Like last night I had some
Mhm.
salad, but then I followed it up with some ground beef and eggs afterwards, because the salad's just not enough to feel what I need for the day, right? So uh, I
Right.
I tend to focus on protein. That's sort of the focus. One thing that I've been doing for almost 8 months now, probably, is doing the like I've been eating a lot of fermented vegetables as well. Well, not a
Mhm.
lot, but I'm eating them daily, like having a serving of kimchi or sauerkraut or something like that. And that has been one of the keys to me finally fixing some of these gut issues that I've had, like for almost 30 years now. Uh, so obviously that's not carnivore by any stretch, but
Right.
it's one of those things where I've always been, I will be the first to say that we always just have to do what works for us. And you're right, the chaffle thing is what turned it started out as a, hey, this is a cool thing to do. And of course it was Steve at Serious Keto that started the whole, or he didn't start the whole chaffle craze, but he's the one that, you know his channel started off as like a chaffle channel as well.
Chocolate channel.
Yeah. And for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, I've just been, trying to come up with something fun and new every year, every week. And it's one of those things as a creator too. I'm at the point where with these videos now that I'm over 100 different chaffle videos on the channel. It's fun to come up with new ideas every week, but it's also very streamlined for me now. So basically, I can film, edit, post, do a thumbnail for a video all in about 2 hours with it now. So, and
That's great. I hope I get to that point.
yeah, I think that's, as a creator, like getting to the creator side of things, that's the biggest difference is trying to get to a point where you can, just streamline it. I've tried to do other kinds of videos and I'm just not very good at it. And, you know, looking at analytics, no one really wants to watch me talk to a camera for 10 minutes. So chaffles it is.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that you had gut issues, like stomach issues. and you had some joint pain when you're heavier. Was there any other like medical conditions that you had that like maybe cleared up, or anything else that, this helped treat?
No, not really. Like that's why I say I'm thankful that, I sort of made the change when I did, because I was probably on the way to being diabetic, the way I was going. Thankfully, knock on wood, I've never had any issue with like acid reflux or any, any of those kind of stomach issues, or, so yeah, it was more of like an inflammation type thing that I was dealing with, like, a sore back all the time and sore knees. And that, I just always attributed that to the sports I played when I was younger, because I did get injuries. And, when you're playing sports, and I was in competitive judo until I was like 18, and that's really hard on your joints as well. So,
Wow.
I always just said to myself, well, that's why I'm always in pain. But ultimately it was the inflammation that was causing that pain from my diet, basically.
Yes. Okay, so let's say hi to a couple more people.
Mm-hmm.
Kendra, whom you're friends with, is here.
Yep. Yep.
Brenda Foley is here. Hi, Brenda. I think we said hi to Lynn, Holly, Aaron. Booby Goats is here.
Mm-hmm.
My butter woman friend. I'm
Mm-hmm.
bacon woman. She's butter woman. Let's see who else is here. Christ is my cure is here. Welcome. Thank you. Feral Grandma Wendy is here. And again, just to requote, Josephine's here. Hi, Josephine. We got a lot of people tuning in tonight. If you have a question, please post QQQ on it, or if you have something you want to be read, please post QQQ so that I can make sure that I get that question addressed. Just because there's so much going on in chat, I'm probably not going to be able to read all that. Okay. What is the most interesting thing that you have ever eaten? Either on this lifestyle or off. I mean, preferable on this lifestyle. Have anything interesting like octopus or,
Well, I always used to love like calamari, all the time.
Me too.
I probably would never have gone to, I eat sardines once in a while straight out of the can, and I've made sardines into chaffles and stuff like that too. So that's, definitely, I've never really had any sort of aversion to most foods. Like I've never really been anything I said, no, I don't want to try that. I'm sure there's some stuff I've never had the opportunity to turn down. So there may be things out there, but yeah, it's hard to say. I guess I would say, even things like kimchi, I never really would have thought that I would, gravitate to something like that. But now that I've been including that in my diet for the last 8 months or so, I really like that. And, I try and seek out
I love it.
Yeah, the kimchi with the best ingredients, but I also try and find the one that is as spicy as possible, kind of thing. It's
So you don't make your own?
I haven't yet. That's on my to-do
I
list.
have a recipe. I have a recipe for kimchi. We should do it together in some sort of challenge.
Sure.
It's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes patience because you got to let it sit out for days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, that's
so it just,
definitely yeah, definitely one of my plans, for the near future, is to get into actually making my own. I just wanted to start using it, and I've been buying products from multiple different companies so that I get different strains of ferment, so that I'm not eating the same thing all the time. So I've got some sauerkraut from one company and kimchi from another company. And then like I've been trying to mix it up and have different kinds of ferments, each time for each meal kind of thing. And ultimately, I'd like to get to the point where I might be able to tolerate, more fermented dairy kind of thing, because I've always had trouble with dairy. So, yeah, no, definitely on my list of things to do is to make my own kimchi at some point. So yeah, maybe we can do a collaboration with the two of us and maybe some
That
other
would be fun.
homesteaders or something. So
Yeah. Kendra says you've done so great, Jason. Very inspiring. I would have to agree with that. Lynn, 22Q Cat says, big difference, Jason. Good for you. And then Charlie at Darth Carnivore says, wow, what a transformation. And we do have a question. I'm just going to read it because I have OBS filtering my chats over here. This is from Brenda Foley, and she says, have any meetup plans now there is no Keto Palooza this year? And I haven't heard of anything that's replacing Keto Palooza. Have you?
no, I don't. Like, I know there's the local meetups that you guys have down in your areas there. Nothing that I'm going to be going to. If Keto Palooza doesn't come back, the only thing I can see myself going to in the future is probably something like Meat Stock, and I think that's in Tennessee. I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So.
Uh,
So yeah, unless
see.
Keto Palooza
Yeah.
comes back. So
That, and actually that's really Keto Palooza. I mean, I had been keto since 2018, but I didn't meet the community until last year.
yeah,
Keto Palooza is when everybody got a hold of me and was like, what are you doing? Where have you been? And you need a YouTube channel. I'm like, what? Why? And so that's kind of how I ended up here. It was because people were encouraging me that I met at Keto Palooza last year. Let's see. Here's a question. Crisis My Cure said, I tried some lamb and I'm not a fan. Anyone here a fan? Have you ever had lamb?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anytime we go to Greek restaurants or anything, it's always lamb chops, and I'm definitely a fan. It's not something I make for myself very often. It's more, if we go to a Greek restaurant, then that's one of my go-tos. So yeah, definite fan.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I've thought about it. Anytime I have to research how to cook something, it kind of prevents me from like buying it because I'm like, oh, now I got to learn something else to learn how to cook. So,
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. If money was no object,
Mm-hmm.
like no object, like if it was like a $500 meal, what is your what is your favorite, absolute favorite thing to eat? Expense not,
Sure.
thought
Well,
about in this case.
yeah, obviously a nice thick or ribeye steak is, my go-to. Even we go to a market every couple of weeks kind of thing out of town just for something to do, where they have like fresh aged ribeyes there, and they're pretty, like, they're $30 for one ribeye up here. So, and I'll do that as a treat once in a while. It would typically be like ribeye or prime rib. You know, I used to like go out to places. I don't know if you guys have the Mandarin in the States, like the Chinese food restaurants. It's a Chinese food buffet here that, you get all you can eat Alaskan snow crab legs. And it's not cheap, but I could definitely get my money's worth if I had that kind of money to spend on it. So
Yeah, that's
nothing,
awesome.
yeah,
I don't
nothing.
know that we have we have a Mandarin house here locally, but it's a local restaurant. It's not a
Right.
chain. If you were stranded on an island, what three, if you could only take three things with you, not people, but things, three things with you, what three things would you take with you?
Well, I'd have to have eggs. That's sort of my number one thing. Three things I could take with me. Huh. Well, yeah, as far as food goes, it would be eggs, and you know, if I could have all the rib steaks I could take, I guess, and then I don't know. I'd have to take some sort of electrolyte drink to keep me alive as well, I guess. It's but I could live off
Those
eggs
are
and
good.
steaks.
That's good
Yeah.
choices. I could too. I eat about 10 eggs a day. I eat about a
Yeah.
dozen eggs a day right now.
Yeah.
Um, what are your tips? Because a lot of complaints I get for people who are not on this lifestyle, or it's too expensive. What are your tips for shopping keto on a budget?
I think a lot of people the people that get that kind of idea about this lifestyle have gotten that idea from people probably somewhere from on YouTube or on Instagram or TikTok telling them that it's too expensive. Well, you have to buy the best of this and the best of that. You can't buy it has to be grass fed this and grass fed that and organic. Like Dr. Barry says, buy the best protein you can afford. That's all you have to do. You know, Even the cheapest ground beef and eggs is better than anything else you can buy from a box, in my opinion. And it's not, yeah, okay, it's more expensive now than it was, 2 years ago, kind of thing, for things like beef and eggs. And like, I don't know what it's like there now, but eggs prices have come down here, but the beef and that, it's still tough. It's still pretty expensive, but you just have to buy it when it's on sale and freeze it. And then, ultimately my biggest thing is that, okay, yes, it's a little more expensive now to eat this lifestyle, but it's still going to be cheaper than all the medications you're going to pay for 10 years down the road. So it's a choice to make.
Exactly.
I'd rather spend all my money on ribeye steaks than on medications that I shouldn't need, really.
Exactly. Evelyn's here. Hi, Evelyn. Thank you for joining. We love our friend Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of my moderators. Okay, so kind of on the tail end of that, what advice would you give to someone new? I mean, you're a seasoned veteran in this lifestyle. So what advice would you give to someone just starting out on this lifestyle?
Yeah, I've thought about this over the years, and I think it's just really. Uh, I think back to when I started, and there was a lot of noise in the whole community. Like there's so many different opinions about how to do this and how to do that. I think I would sort of point someone towards, I think there's research that needs to be done and understanding that needs to come along with this lifestyle. You can't just. I'm not going to be able to sit here and say that this is exactly what you would want to do. I might start by pointing them towards like Dr. Barry's Keto 101 video playlist kind of thing to start off with. And then from that, I think it's important to find some sort of support to go along with it. Because if you try and go through any kind of change like this by yourself, it can be so hard to do. Especially if you're you're living in a household and you're the only one in that household that is trying to make this lifestyle change. It's really hard. That's what I did here. And, I managed to do it, but I know a lot of people that try to make a lifestyle change, but, other people in the house are still eating junk food, and temptation is, it gets all of us eventually, if we let it. So I think it's the research, but keeping it simple, trying not to overload yourself with information, and then, get some support and then commit to, everyone wants that quick fix. Everyone wants to lose that weight now. The unfortunate part is that, yeah, you can lose some weight in a very reasonable amount of time with keto, but you still have to give it that first 90 days, 120 days just to get fat adapted. So if you're not willing to commit to doing that, then, people are just bound to fail. You have to look deep down inside and, come up with that reason why you're doing this. Like my reason was because I had a young grandson that I couldn't play with. He was always like, "Oh, let's go play. Let's do this. Let's play soccer." Or, but I couldn't do it. So my reason why is because I wanted to be able to play with my grandson and watch him grow up. Right. So figuring out why you want to
Right.
do this, and then do your research, make the commitment, maybe clear out some of the temptations from the cupboard that are sitting there, waiting to derail you. And, don't white knuckle it by yourself. Thankfully there's a good community out here. There's so many people on YouTube now that are sort of smaller enough, like looking to someone like Dr. Barry as your support vehicle. Great person
Mm-hmm.
with all the information you need, but he's not necessarily the one you're going to reach out to, directly for support. Like my channel, I'm always put it right out there. My email's on my homepage. I'm always, if people need support, people want to ask questions, just, vent, that I'm always open to that kind of thing. So, that's basically where
That's great.
I try and go with people that want to get stuck or started with it.
Me too. And my email is also on my main YouTube page, and people have been reaching out to me too. You kind of said something about your family, and this was one of my other questions. Are you the only one in your immediate family doing this lifestyle, or is everyone on board with you?
Yeah, no, it's just me. Yeah, I've been trying to sort of all I can, I don't ever sort of preach to anyone about it. I just do what I do and hope that, it's the just inspiring by, or just doing, sort of continuing to do what I do. And, if people want to make that choice to follow, then that's their choice to make, basically.
And Crisis My Cure says, I keep my carnivore diet simple, want to increase fat due to the going into the change of life, going to start fasting. Me too. That's one of the reasons why I went carnivore right now, is because keto was working for me for a very long time, but I'm going to be 50 this year, and women of our age have weird stuff that happens. So sometimes you got to tweak it up and try different things. So I totally understand that. What was an unexpected result you had living this lifestyle? Did anything like get fixed that you weren't expecting to, or did anything happen to you that was positive that you weren't expecting?
I'm on YouTube. That was not really expected,
Is that positive?
Yeah. Well, it has its day, it has its times, I guess. I think I guess sort of the ultimate results that I got were what I was hoping for. I feel better. I lost some weight. I'm sort of, you know, continuing, and it's something that I can continue to do without having to think about it. It's just a part of my life. I never ever sort of thought when I started that, 2 days or 2 years into this journey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, basically just to focus on helping anybody else I can. Like if you look back at the beginning of my YouTube journey, most of what I did on YouTube was do these kind of interviews with other people in the keto and carnivore community, and then posting them up with the hopes that it would help somebody. Like I've talked to Paul, Defense Wiz, and Dustin and I have talked a couple of times, and trying to be of service to the community through YouTube is definitely not is something right out of left field for me. Like, this is, even when I started keto, if you'd told me this is what I'd be doing six years later, I would not have believed you. So, you know, hey, for better or worse, that's what what I'm doing every week now, and trying to do interviews like this as much as I can to try and help other people. So.
Oh, Kendra says, man, I don't even know if I'd be alive at this point if I didn't start keto when I did. I mean, that could be it for a lot of us too. Kendra, I don't know your story. I don't know if you have a video out there that, but if you want to come on and be interviewed, I'd be happy to have you. Send me an email at ketorockstars21@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what, your story. So let's see. And this is Just Jason Keto. I have pinned his channel at the top of the chat. So please, if you're not subscribed to him, please go ahead and subscribe, because he's a wealth of information and just a nice guy. I mean, I bet we met at Keto Palooza 24, but I don't remember because I met like 300 people. Have you had any roadblocks or downsides to living this lifestyle that you can think of?
Well, I think there's always the typical, the having to adjust to how to sort of negotiate things like family gatherings and parties that you go to and stuff like that. Like, and when you're first starting out on something like this, it gets really stressful trying to figure out, okay, well, I still want to go out and have fun, but how do I do it and stick to what I'm doing? And, like, I've done a couple of videos with a few sort of steps that I've sort of used in my own journey. Like, if you're going out to a party and it's in the evening, my number one thing is that I will eat a very big protein heavy early supper before going, because then that way I'm just not hungry and I don't wind up picking away at garbage all night. Right. So things like that, though, I think that can really, impact people mentally, as far as they're changing their lifestyle, is trying to adjust to the different situations you get in when you're trying to stick to a lifestyle change, because life keeps going on. It's not going to, the rest of the world around you is not going to change you, but you have to adjust and do that. I can't really think of too many roadblocks, I guess. There was a period of time, probably within the first 3 months or so, when I was doing pretty good. Things were going okay, but then my body basically just said, nope, we're not going to work with this high fat diet. It was just not happening. Like, and this goes back to my digestive issues. Like, it was just like, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay home if you want to do this diet, and that's it. And
I've been there.
Yeah.
I understand.
And I think a lot of people have sort of gone through that. Their body's not sort of used to processing as much fat in their diets. But luckily, the one thing that I found, if anyone runs into this, is that I used, for about 3 weeks, every day I used like an ox bile supplement, and that cleared it right up.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So
that's great.
It's one of those things that could definitely derail it, because you'd be like, nope, can't do this. I got to forget this because, it's ruining my life, kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Speaking of Dustin, his ears must have been burning since you said his name. Yeah. Dustin Keto Simple is here. Welcome, Dustin. Nice of him to stop by. And he says low carb for better health is probably the closest thing. And then the one you mentioned, meat stock, but I heard that cabins at Meat Stock are like $2,000 or something like that.
Oh yeah, if you want to be in the like direct cabin, yeah, it's not cheap. Definitely, it's a yeah. You would myself, I'd have to sort of stay in a local hotel kind of thing and just go to the conference part of it. But yes, you're correct. If you want to stay right in the mix with everybody, like with Dr. Barry and all that, it's definitely not cheap. And I believe that kind of thing for 2026 is probably already sold out as well. So
Probably.
yeah.
And Lisa, Carnivore Whisperer, is here. Lisa also is another new YouTuber, and she is battling her mental illness with carnivore. So she has a very interesting channel too. Okay. So I kind of know this a little bit, but tell us about your YouTube channel and how exactly you got started with that. Did someone, like me, a bunch of people were like, you need to go on YouTube. Or did you just figure it out on your own, or did someone inspire you, or what happened with that?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know sort of what inspired me to do it. Like ultimately, when I first started keto, I was on. I started Instagram before I started YouTube. So in the first 2 years of being on Instagram, I wound up with over 5,000 followers on Instagram, and I was a big part of the keto community over there. And then I guess at one point I just thought, I wonder if I can, turn this into a YouTube thing because, obviously I want to help people, but I also understand that for what I was doing on Instagram, it was never going to turn into any kind of monetary venture kind of thing. So that's when I started doing YouTube. And like I said before, like my first few videos that don't even really exist anymore were pretty cringe. They were not very good because I tried to be a vlogger and that kind of thing, and it's just not my thing. And so that's when I came up with the idea of just doing pre-recorded interviews with other people I'd met on Instagram, and then releasing them as videos as part of a podcast series. So sort of that led to doing the odd product review video, doing when shorts came out, I was really big into shorts as well. And then I don't even know how I got started doing chaffle videos. It kind of just, it was something I made. I think one of the first ones I put out was a peanut butter chocolate chip chaffle video kind of thing. And even it's one of those things as a YouTube creator, I have 2 or 3 videos that if they didn't have the views they have right now, I'd probably take them down because I don't like the videos. Like they're not good videos, but I do have a few of those older videos from the beginning that still get views every day, and they're up in the tens of thousands of views now. So the chaffle thing, I get to the point where obviously I enjoy doing it and I'm going to continue doing it. I'm just kind of worried at some point it'll be, I can't come up with any more ideas. But when I do anything other than chaffles on my channel, as far as recipe videos go, it's not, people don't like it. So they don't get, near the same kind of views. So, but it's just all part of being a YouTuber. You have to figure out what works best. And, I like doing live streams. I still like doing interviews, and, I do a monthly collaboration with Kendra and I Consume the Goodness there and some other creators where we just trade recipes and, just have fun with it. And at the end of the day, just here to help as many people as I can. And if anybody out there, I'm sure there's people that I have helped in the past and I've people have said so, and that's really what makes it worth me continuing to do. So.
Right. Brian, Fly Fisherman Dish is here. Hi, Brian. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Do you ever experience people treating you weird in social situations because of, this lifestyle or anything like
Not
that?
weird. I guess, there's, I think more and more nowadays, at least I have found that if I'm out at a gathering and there's people that I don't know, because most of the people that I do know, I've known long enough that they've seen the transformation, of me losing weight, and they know that that's just the way I am nowadays. But all it can be is the I don't, I'm not someone who really ever says the words keto, ketovore in public. That's just not, I don't talk about it because, to be honest with you, I'm tired of talking about it to people that don't really want to know about it. If someone really wants to know about it, and I say, well, you got to give up pasta and bread. If they say, okay, well, then what? Then I'll talk to them about it. If they don't say that and they're like, oh, I don't know, then I won't talk anymore about it. I don't have the time for it. It's not my thing to deal with. But in social situations, like if I'm, people do notice that you're not eating a lot of the junk food. But what I find if I'm out a lot of times, you just eat what you can. And if there's nothing to eat, you just say, well, no, I'm just not hungry, and then when people do ask, I just say, well, I just don't eat, I don't eat processed foods or sugars or grains or any of this stuff. So, it's kind of a tough thing to navigate for a lot of people. I just try and not have to explain it any more than I have to, I guess.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. So, what is your favorite restaurant and what is your favorite meal to order out at a restaurant?
Favorite restaurant?
Do
I
you go out
think
to eat ever?
we're sort of we do go out to eat or do takeout once a week. That's just a Friday night after work kind of thing, because no one feels like cooking on Friday nights. Given the choice of a restaurant that I would always want to go to, it'd be like somewhere like the Outback, which is kind of sad because they don't exist here in Canada anymore. They shut down all of their restaurants except for one in Niagara Falls. And I would always get the prime rib when I go to the Outback. So if I go to a restaurant, the first thing I'll look for is chicken wings. And then when they tell me that they have breading on them, then I'll just go with steak. So because it's just inevitable most of the time that most restaurants, forget about what they cook their wings in. Most restaurants, their wings are covered in flour anyways. So then we just move on to the inevitable, New York strip or whatever kind of steak you can get, or chicken.
Yep. Yep. And Dustin says, if I didn't start keto when I did, I may not be here. 9 years ago, I was in bad shape. And Evelyn also says, I know for a fact I wouldn't be here without keto. I had already started planning my funeral. And Lynn says, we all love Jason. Yes, we do. And Jason is just like very helpful. I mean, whether it's about keto or about starting a YouTube channel, if you guys have any questions, go to his page and look up his email, shoot him an email, participate in his, do you do live streams still, or do you just do you do live streams? I'm in your live streams. You do live streams on every other Thursday. And then you do the recipe videos. You drop on, what is it, every Saturday?
I've been doing Friday evenings lately. I've been trying to experiment. It's once a week, and I premiere the video every week so that there's a live chat when I'm doing the premiere. So I've been trying to look at my analytics and see what the best time, like the best day and the best time. So the last few weeks I've been doing, Kendra usually has a video that premieres at 7 p.m. on Friday nights. So I've been going at like 6:45 just before hers, and then sending everyone in my premiere into her premiere. And so, yeah, it's just once a week right now. Mostly on Fridays, and then every other Thursday during the summer for live streams. And then that's sort of where my YouTube is leveled out at this point. It's kept the channel growing at a fairly steady rate. Like I don't I have a 9-to-5 job. I don't really have the time I would really like to put into production of videos and everything. So it's kind of, this is where I have to stick with YouTube until such a time that I might actually have some extra time, whether or not it's when I get old enough to not have to work 9 to 5, or, I actually make enough money from YouTube that it can allow me to not have to spend as much time at my day job.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, I got 15 years till retirement, but maybe by then I'll have a well-established channel like Mitch or something, who knows? And Evelyn posted Lisa's channel, so everybody go. Oh, and Evelyn also posted Kendra's channel. Evelyn is like one of the best moderators for posting people's channels. Yep. She just does it. I don't even have to ask. It's awesome because it's hard for me to do it. And then here is Jason's channel. Please, everyone. I think a lot of everybody in here is already subscribed to you, but if for some reason you're not, please do that. And here's Dustin's channel. I think I saw Dustin just released an extra short. I'm not even sure what that means. Is it like 1 second? Yes. And Lynn says everyone needs to check out Jason, and I was going to say Justin, but it's just Jason. Jason and Kendra's monthly collaborations. They are so fun and great. I wanted to get in on those, but my summer just became extremely crazy. So, but if you're still doing them, I may have to jump in on that. Yeah. I think I saw someone new here. Okay. Yes. Meathead. This is Kurt, everybody. Hi, Kurt. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you being here. Let's see if there's any questions. Please post questions again with the QQQ. Brian says, Kurt, work is another one of the 4-letter words. And yes, okay, I wasn't going to say this. I knew this, but let's all say some prayers for Kurt. He's having surgery tomorrow morning. I didn't want to disclose that without his permission, but he said it. So, yeah, not doing anything tonight, but fasting after a certain time, probably, for your surgery tomorrow. Wow, that's the end of the comments. So I got through all of my questions except for, other than YouTube, where can people find you on social media? Is it just only YouTube or?
Yeah, YouTube. And then I'm on Instagram as well. Same name, like just_Jason_Keto. Like I said, I've been there longer than I've been on YouTube. I don't do a whole lot over there. It's more just posting links to my weekly videos over there anymore, kind of thing. I still, I'll still follow back anyone that wants to, connect over there, and I'm always available. That's a fairly easy way to get a hold of me, is through Instagram as well. Most of my time on Instagram nowadays is hanging out or chatting with all the moderators from Tuber Chat, because that's a pretty active bunch of people. And I don't know if you've found if that being over there has helped you sort of get some traction on YouTube.
Yeah, I have. Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I feel like things are starting to blow up for me a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't have the subscribers, but my watch hours are crazy. I'm getting like
Mhm.
360, 370 hours per month.
Mhm.
I just don't have, which would be enough to be monetized, right? But I just don't have the subscribers. So, but every day I'm getting like three
Yeah.
subscribers every day. So
Yeah.
it won't be long before that gets taken care of. But I kind of like not being, this is terrible. I kind of like not being monetized. Because I've been doing this on YouTube for 2 years,
Mhm.
just in a closed group. I've been going live for 2 years prior to this, and it was just to help people.
Mhm.
And I don't want to get that feeling like you have to do stuff just for money. It's nice to get money. I mean,
Mhm.
you want to be able to make some money, but it's like I don't want that to be a motivation. I just want to help people. I want my original motivation just to be my motivation. And if money comes, that's a
Yeah.
bonus, kind
Sure.
of thing. It's not about the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So I kind of like being small. And the other thing I'm finding as I'm growing, the chats get crazy. I can't address every single thing in the chat, especially when I'm doing interviews or open mics. If
Mhm.
it's just me, I can. And it's getting crazy. And then my email is blowing up too. So
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you experienced that with just trying to keep up with the responding to everybody.
Sure. Yeah. No, yeah. With the success on anything like this, it will, it takes a lot more involvement, but, I've said it from the beginning too, is that, and this is not just my saying, and it's not something I came up with. It's something I heard, is that if you do YouTube or anything like this with the idea in mind that you're doing it to help others, then what you deserve to get out of, doing this, it'll come around, right? Like uh, I'm the same way. I don't need YouTube. I know there's a lot of creators out there that sort of are doing YouTube out of necessity, right? I don't need it. It doesn't pay any bills for me. Yeah, okay. Maybe last year it helped me pay to go to Keto Palooza. That was sort of what it
Mhm.
did for me, right? So, um, am I going to be upset if I blow up with and get, 1 million subscribers and I can quit my job and just focus on YouTube? No, I'll take it, but I'm not, I don't expect it. So, and yeah, you're definitely, I think the way that you're rolling along with your channel, like the fact that you say you're getting watch hours now, and I'll tell this to anybody that wants to start a YouTube or has just started YouTube, forget about subscribers. Nothing, don't even think about subscribers. It's all about watch hours, because it doesn't matter. You can have 10,000 subscribers. If you're not getting watch hours, that you're doing nothing. Like it's not, you're
Mhm.
not going to move forward in it. So right from day one, you got to be thinking about networking. I know a lot of people, and I was the same way when I started on YouTube. I was only focused on knowing people in the same community that I was in. I only talked to people in the keto community. And it got to the point after 2 years on YouTube, I was not really getting anywhere with it. And I was like, oh, this is, why should I even bother doing this anymore? That's when I, met Kevin at Tuber Chat there. And ever since I started networking with other creators of any kind, that, I met people like Kendra and, uh, other homesteaders that, they're not necessarily like we've all got things in common, is that we want to be YouTube creators, right? So we don't have to
Mhm.
do the same kind of content to be friends. And so once I started networking, that's when things really started. I got better ideas of things to do, and but I think your channel's doing great for, you've got great production for, you've got better production on your channel than a lot of channels much bigger than yours. So you've definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been rough. Some of my older videos. Well, I uploaded a lot of my Facebook videos too, and they're
Mm.
bad. But I
No,
mean,
yeah, everybody's first
but
videos are terrible.
well, and to add to that, if anybody, Charlie, if you're still here, find Tuber Chat.
Mhm,
It's a helpful community. And the other thing I find too is I am so obsessed with this lifestyle. I eat, breathe, sleep keto carnivore.
mhm,
Just because it's been my passion. I've been wanting to become a coach, and I'm going through Dr. Barry's PhD coaching because it's like if I could be a health coach full time, I would love that and just help
mhm,
people, you know. But the thing about Tuber Chat that's really been helping me is to take a break from the keto carnivore space because like I'm going into travel channels and I'm just
mhm.
taking a break and I'm like remembering what other things I like, and
Yeah,
watching other channels and some
yeah,
things I didn't know I would like. Like there's some automotive ones out there. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. If
yeah,
my car ever does this, then,
yeah, yeah.
you know, so
Yeah, and it's not like we have
it's helping me
to.
take a mental break.
Yeah, and it's not like we have to be, super interested in what everybody else is doing. Like it's not that's not what it's really about necessarily. Yeah, there's going to be other channels like, yeah, this is pretty cool, and I've got my a great core group of people that I we all watch everybody else's videos every week, kind of thing. Um, and it's videos, like I watch crochet channels now, like what do I know about
Hmm.
crochet, and why am I really interested in this stuff? And it's not that I'm interested in the content, it's that I'm interested in supporting other creators, that are just getting started, because that's what Tuber Chat is mostly about. It's about people just getting started that need that support and that sort of uh, foot, like that foot in the door, where you've got a whole bunch of people that can sort of help you out all at once. So
Yes. And Lisa, you should check that out too, since you're fairly new with your channel. And Retired Rick's channel is here. Thank you, Evelyn. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Lisa says, "Me, you're so sweet." I don't know. You should ask my husband. He might say something else about that. But thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, this brings up a good point. Retired Rick says, "I wonder what kind of Avenger I would be." Interesting. So I don't know if you knew this, but I've been creating AI carnivore keto Avengers, and I'm running a contest. If anybody wants their Avenger made into a video, email me at ketorockstars21@gmail.com. I'll probably be running. I'm going to put a little wheel up with everybody who has entered into the contest. It's free. And you have to submit a headshot picture of yourself because I need that for the AI program. You need to give me what your keto carnivore Avenger name is. And then if you have a channel, I'll make 2 videos. I'll make one with my Bacon Woman and one with yours, and then I'll make one just for you, and you can upload it to your channel if you have a channel. So that's kind of my gimmick I'm doing right now, is making little superhero videos for people.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
um I'm probably going to roll out one a month. It does cost money for the AI program, so I have to limit myself because it's like a pay per kind of thing, so I can't be
Okay,
doing them
yeah.
every day, otherwise I won't be able to pay my mortgage. But that's kind of the thing I'm doing right now, is creating Avengers for people. So submit your requests and I'll put whoever on a wheel. And then if you don't get it next month, I'll keep you on the wheel for subsequent months. So that's kind of like my chaffle, is little cartoons. So
Yeah.
let's see. Oh, and I think they're making fun of Rick. I think they said Rick's would, or maybe Brian, a fly fisherman dish, because he's got fisherman in it. I think
Mhm.
instead of swords, he would have rods. He would be Fishman or something like that. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And Paul says, "That's key, Amy. Keep yourself involved in other arenas outside." Yeah, and that's funny. When I watch the crochet channels, it makes me kind of sad because I have been crocheting for 20 years and I just started learning to knit, and YouTube has replaced all of my hobbies because it just takes so much time for
Yeah.
videos and filming and stuff. And so, yeah, so it's hard for me to watch. I have a lot of the crochet friends that I hop into their videos, but it's relaxing. If I can't do it, like when I'm laying in bed and they're live, then I can at least watch them do it. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Tuber Chat. Okay, so for all of you, and Kevin pops into the live streams every once in a while, which is really nice. He's awesome. Another nice guy. And you're in, I don't think we discussed this at all. Well, I think you did mention that you're in Canada. Kevin's also in Canada.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do meetups?
Yep. Yep. No, I've met
You
up
know,
with
have
him.
you've met with Kevin, you know Kevin personally.
Yep. Yeah. The first time he was actually down close to where I live working, doing a job. So we met up for a couple hours, and then I've met up with him with a bunch of other creators in Toronto a couple of times as well. So we usually do that once a year, go out for dinner, and Kevin and his girlfriend and a couple of other people from the Toronto area. So yeah, it's we try to do that as much as we can, because it's always good. You can only do so much over YouTube. It's always easier or always nicer to get a couple of hours of actually talking one-on-one.
Yes, it is. I enjoy meetups here too. I don't want to keep you too long. Did you have any final thoughts or anything that you just really wanted to get off your chest regarding anything?
No, I think that we've pretty much covered, everything important tonight. I wanted to thank you for having me on the channel. It's been good to see, like I say, good to see the progression of your channel, the way it's been going, it's, and
Thank you.
we'll have to have you over at my channel so you can meet the rest of my audience as well, which is, this community is great because we do have a lot of the same people like Evelyn and Lynn and Brenda and Paul, and like we're all getting the same support. Lynn is probably one of my longest supporters on YouTube. She's been around supporting my channel forever. And then you've got people like Thompson here. Thompson is,
yeah, he's never been on the channel, I don't think, Thompson. This is the first time I've seen you here, so thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you stopping by. That's great.
He may have seen my community post about the live stream tonight. Thompson's in Canada as well. He's northern BC.
Nice to meet you.
Living out in the cabin with I need to have another conversation with this guy too, because he just had his channel go he had a couple of 500,000 view videos recently that has just blown his channel up. So great guy though. Yeah. So
I'll have to I don't know that is he in Tuber Chat?
No.
He into okay, I was gonna say I don't remember seeing him. I try to be in there as much as I can, but that's hard too because they're such long live streams.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I pop in and out of there, but
yeah, definitely. We'll have to set up a time when you can come out and meet the rest of the people that like to hang out in my live streams as well, and make sure they know
that'd be awesome.
we're out here trying to help people too. And then I think we've pretty much covered everything tonight. I don't know if anyone else has any questions for anything.
Any final questions? You better ask them now. One final thing I'm doing too, I'm starting to get into more interviews right now just because the cooking shows, as you know, take a lot of practice, prep, ingredients, and then like all day Sunday I'm setting up almost all day, whether it's chopping ingredients and doing this and that. And it's just, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do as many of those while I am in Dr. Barry's PhD class. So I'm probably going to be doing more open mics and these, because basically all I did was took like 30 minutes and wrote questions down.
Sure.
And that is much better than like 10 hours of preparing food and testing it and practicing and, multi-day stuff. So I'm going to have to be spending my time to study instead, at least for the next 6 months, so that I can work on my health coach certificate. But I probably will throw in quick little hors d'oeuvres or, I thought about, I do dual cameras. And my grill is like 5 feet from where my computer is in the kitchen. So I could probably wire a camera out in a grill and do grilling with Amy too.
Yeah.
And just chat and grill at the same time. So I've thought about some of those ideas just to mix it up a little bit. Although grilling's not very exciting. You're just throwing meat on a hot thing, but
Yeah. I've had a lot
we'll
of
see.
shorts do really good with that. So
Yes. And then thank you, Evelyn, my awesomest hostess moderator who just put Thompson's Cabinet Adventures link. So everybody go out and subscribe to Thompson. And I think I'm gonna let Jason go. He's a very busy guy. But I appreciate it if you ever want to come back on, and I'm gonna just shoot me the Thursday you want me to come on and we will set that up. And I really loved hanging out with you tonight, and I love spending time in your live streams in the chat. And everybody go out there and subscribe to Just Jason Keto if you haven't already. And I think we're going to say goodbye for the evening. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good evening. Oh, and stay for the ending credits. I'm going to play ending credits of everybody who participated in this live stream. So hang tight for just a second.